So here we are, back up at 19. A taxi driver charges you an initial fee of $5 and 0.25 per mile after that. So 25 cents every single mile after that. So what I'm already thinking is this graph has to start somewhere up here, not down here at 0. It's not starting down there. It's going to start somewhere here, and then it's going to raise, it's going to go up from there. Then we also want to know where this graph is that we get to a number of miles traveled and charge $6.30. So we know that's going to just be a constant function. So I'm looking for a graph that starts at 5 and goes up. I'm looking for a constant function at $6.30. I look at A, and I see my line going up. That's good. This line is increasing, but it didn't start at 5, and it's going up too fast. So that one's out. For B, I'm looking for a line that goes up. Well, I found it. That line's going up. Oh, and it's going up slowly. That's good. And it started at 5. So that one passed our first test. Our second test is we need that constant function or that horizontal line at $6.30. And this one's not. This one's at $12. Looks like $12.60 roughly. Almost double. That's not what we're looking for. C meets both of our categories. This line starts at 5 and goes up slowly. And we have an equation that goes that flat as a horizontal line at $6, roughly $6. That looks a little close to 6 for me, but $6 either way. So option D, just to make sure that C is correct, we see this line goes up too quickly, and we see that our constant function is in the wrong spot. That one's both on wrong accounts, or wrong on both accounts, excuse me. So therefore, we have C is our answer. Our only one that passed both of our options, C. Number 20, I keep harping on these because the state of Georgia loves these type of questions. Between which two steps is the mistake first made? Oh, that word kills students. It's first made. A lot of people read these and they sit there and they think, okay, first made, no, I'm just looking for the biggest mistake. I'm looking for that easy mistake. The state of Georgia loves to give you this question, and then they'll put multiple mistakes in it. They want you to find the first one, not all of them, not the last one, the first one. So I'm looking between step 1 and 2. I'm saying, well, first, what did they do? And then, did they do it right? Well, I'm looking just at this first section. And so I'm saying, okay, this -2 stayed out there and our parentheses stayed the same. So this whole section stayed the same. The -1 stayed the same. The equals is in the same spot. 3, but we have a 4x minus x on the right-hand side, and that becomes 3x. So we found out what they changed. Now, did they change it correctly? Yes. 4x minus x is a 3x because of that invisible 1 that's out front. So that checks out. Fun. Next, we're looking at step 2 to step 3. Okay? Step 2 to step 3. We first have to figure out what they did. I'm saying, okay, that -2 is still out there, but this time it's attached to the x and it's attached. So they distributed this 2 in. Whereas last problem, they combined like terms. Here they just distributed this -2 in. So -2 times x, our first multiplication, gives us -2x. That's good. -2 times +3, that should give us a -6. And that's such a small mistake, but it is a mistake nonetheless, and it is the first mistake. So we don't even care about the rest of the problems. There's our first mistake right there between steps 2 and 3. Answer is B. Okay? On to the open answer. Sorry, I had stuff there from my previous class. Clear those out. Our first open answer. We're talking about my buddy Jeff. And Jeff wants to save up some money and go traveling. Okay? So, he starts working around town, finds him a good old job, but he's earning $275 per week. And we need to write an equation. Please notice the directions. I'm trying to lead you in the right place. Write an equation to describe the problem, and then use the table below and fill it in. Well, I know this is going to be a linear function because they are all linear functions as of now. Because that's our chapter, and it's y equals mx plus b. So I know that m stands for slope or rate of change. That's important, or rate of change. And our y-intercept is b, otherwise known as our initial value, or our starting point. Okay? So in these problems, a lot of times we're only given one number. If we're only given one number, it's always going to actually be this slope. But we don't know that every time. in this problem, let's consider it. We only given that one number. Maybe you don't know that little fact that it's always slope. And we sit there and we say, okay, then what is this $275? Well, the $275 is per week. Per week. So every single week we're getting that over and over and over. That's what's making our money go up. Therefore, that's our rate of change. That's how fast the amount of money that Jeff has is changing. That's the rate of change in his money. So it's y equals positive 275x. If it was negative, he'd be losing money. And then we need to know how much money he has to start with. Well, it doesn't tell us, which means he actually starts out with $0. Okay? He's got $0 to start with, and he's making $275 per week. Now, this looks a little bit different than what we want our equations down here to look. And remember, this bottom one I'll have labeled tomorrow. This is expression, quantity, and unit. And so our expression needs to involve the letter t. So I would just change it to be 275t plus 0. And no, you don't have to have that plus 0 if you understand that it doesn't need to be there. But it helps a lot of people to see that that was our initial value. So we fill this in. It is 275t plus 0. They already filled in this left-hand column for us with t. Well, I know that means my quantity is time. My unit of time comes from the problem, and in this case, it says we're talking about weeks. Okay, so weeks. Most of the time, it's hours or minutes. For our dependent, we're just trying to figure out what our other part of our equation was. We already tackled the weeks, so now we're talking about the money that he makes. So our unit for the problem is dollars, and then you can put money or savings, or there's several different correct answers. Now, to fill this table out, really all we were concentrated on was finding this equation. We go to y equals, clear out whatever someone else put, and we put in 275. We can't do t in the calculator, so we just do x, and then plus 0, hit enter. And now we want to look at the table. To look at the table, we press the we press the second key. And then over here, you'll see in blue this word table. So we press that graph key and it'll bring up our table. So 0, 2, and 4 coincides with 0, 5, 50, and 1100. And then for the other ones, we've got to scroll down. So we're going down, 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 down. 2750 is with 10 right there. And 3575 is with 13. So 10 and 13. And we're done. What was important was getting this equation. Cannot go anywhere without that equation. That's why I listed it first. On down to the very last problem on our review. Jeff did it. He made enough money and he's on his way over to England right now. That's where he's going to land. And he's going to travel around all of Europe. Again, we have quantity, unit, and expression. And we've got to make up this equation that describes our problem set. Well, I know it's linear. It's got to be y equals mx plus b. And then I've got to identify what's my slope and what's my starting point. Okay? My slope is my rate of change. What's changing is that we are descending at a rate of 600 feet per minute. So I have y equals, and now I know it's 600, but our plane is going down. So it's going to go down to land. So it's got to be a negative 600x. And then we actually have a starting point this time, because if not, our plane would already be on the ground. We've got to have a starting point. And our starting point is given to us. We are at 15,000 feet. So we're 15,000 positive feet up in the air, and we're coming down from there. Well, again, our problem wants you to use t, so we'll just oblige it, and we'll change our x to t, negative 600 t plus 15,000. Okay? For our quantity, we have a t here, so we know our quantity is time. And in this problem, it was per minute. For our dependent, we're looking at the opposite side of the per, which means we're looking at feet. And there's two different answers that most people accept here. It's height or distance.